Hello and welcome to the second part of our Houston Arcade Expo 2021 coverage. Or should I say Houston Arcade and Pinball Expo? In my 3 years of covering the event, I've been neglecting that pinball part of the convention title. I wanted to make a pinball segment for the 2019 show. That didn't really pan out for a variety of reasons, and I really wanted to make up for that this year. As odd as it may sound to say, I've gotten a better pinball education in my time doing this, and I have an overall better appreciation for pinball. There's plenty of great pinball video games out there, but nothing truly replicates that tactile feel of a good old-fashioned metal and glass pinball table. Pinball isn't just the predecessor to video games, it's a true red, white, and blue American institution. The oldest pinball tables at the Expo go all the way back to the 60s, but pinball as a medium goes all the way back to the 1930s. The earliest pinball games like Baffleball, a game made by Mr. David Gottlieb himself in 1931, didn't even have flippers. To our modern eyes, these are more like Plinko games. Gottlieb was largely credited with modernizing pinball to what we recognize it as today, as they arguably created the concept of pinball flippers in the late 1940s, thus adding more skill and dynamics to the game. Midwestern-based companies like Rockola, Bally, and Williams were previously World War II-era manufacturing factories that developed vehicles and munitions. Rockola, for instance, made rifles, and Bally made airplane fuselage and bullets. With all these plans for processing metal, wood, and silica, they changed industries, going from war to arcade amusement. There was a concern in American society at one point that people who played pinball games were, well, degenerates. There was also concern that pinball might have been some kind of secret form of gambling. This gambling concern is part of the reason why, here, take a look at this, why a lot of pinball machines from the 60s and 70s say on them for amusement purposes only. One thing that surprised me was learning how much maintenance pinball games need. In 2019, an attendee here told me that pinball games need to be checked daily in order to make sure that everything is greased and lubricated properly, that the programming and the props are running fine. In some extreme cases, they need 2 or 3 diagnostic checks. Let's talk about some games from Gottlieb. I was pretty excited that they had Genie. Genie was here previously in 2018, but I believed it was limited access, so I didn't get to play it very much. Genie is a very well-known Gottlieb game from the late 70s. It's a score attack game without any kind of crazy bells or whistles or intrusive props or anything, but it's still widely recognized and respected.
Genie is all about building up and scoring a huge bonus.
It's a beautiful looking game, especially when it lights up. One unique feature of its playfield is that there's a mini field in the upper left corner. You can get to it if you're good enough. Genie is what you would call a wide body table. This was a major selling point of the game, actually. It had a bit more width than its contemporaries, and you know, this is something that I can even demonstrate side by side. Look, over here on the left, there's a contemporary game, Cherry Ball, which has a more standard width, and on the right, there's Genie. Look at that wide body. It's a classic fun game, it's one to look out for. Strikes and Spares. This is one of the very last games that Gottlieb ever made. It's from the mid-90s. They used to have this and another Gottlieb game called Teed Off at an arcade I went to as a kid, way back when I lived in Florida. Is it a pinball bowling game, or is it a bowling pinball game? Super Mario Bros. This is a Gottlieb game from 1992, made to celebrate the release of Super Mario World. Very popular with the public because, let's not kid ourselves, because of the Mario theming. But pinball fans don't like it very much. It normally doesn't rank very high on lists. To be honest with you, I don't like it very much. I love Mario, but I think this is a really clumsily designed table. The Mario artwork is very cool though, I'll give you that. This is Bounty Hunter, a Gottlieb game from the 1980s. Hey, is that Pamela Anderson? Why, yes it is. From 1996, Barbed Wire was Gottlieb's final game. Super Straight by Sonic Pinball. So I'm not sure if this game was designed like this or if it's just naked. I'm not sure. Oh, they can be hard like that.
No, why? That wasn't fair.
Try plunging it not too hard. Try to go a little bit lighter. This game here is Skill Ball by Williams. It's from 1961. I previously caught this game during the 2018 show. Skill Ball is celebrating its 60th year. To quote one of the DJs, this game is older than your parents. Skill Ball was a huge hit with our cohort Saturn, and here he is to explain why. Alright, right here Saturn is playing Skill Ball by Williams. This is from 1961. This might be the oldest pinball game here. This game is 60 years old.
And for some reason I've been gravitating towards the older ones here. I don't know. I've always had like a lukewarm interest in pinball. I've never really taken it too seriously, but I've always had like a light fondness for it. But after coming out here and playing some of these machines, I've determined that I like the older ones for some reason. I find pinball to be like a good mixture of like being relaxing and being intense. I think these older kind of pinball games capture that feeling a lot because they're really chill and they focus on like how mechanically satisfying it feels to do everything. Like look at this for example. I get to like push in the ball, I get to pull it back, and I get to shoot it, and like everything feels like great because there's so much feedback on everything you do. It's just wonderful. Something very very compelling about it. I would actually get one of these like in my home if I had the opportunity. Obviously, this is probably going to cost a hell of a lot of money to put in my home, but you know, I would very much like something like this at some point.
Hopefully your neighbors would tolerate the noise.
It'd probably end up in like a basement or something.
Now that we've explored how pinball started, let's see how far we've come with the new tables from Stern.
The new Godzilla table, revealed in September of 2021, was a full-on celebration of the Toho films. The game represents Godzilla going on a rampage of destruction and battling other kaiju. This was my favorite of the new Stern games. The goal of the Led Zeppelin game has the band go on a world tour. The table plays several of their classic songs during your game sessions. Big hits like Immigrant Song, Kashmir, and Black Dog. To those I've spoken to, I've come to the conclusion that this is the most divisive of the 2021 Stern games. The Mandalorian. The game objectives are based on missions, such as protecting the child, Gorgo, or whatever his name is, Baby Yoda. I liked the game fine, but it was more of a hit with Sam. Here he is to explain why.
For me, I think it's one of the games that gives you a lot of tries. I feel like in the Avengers game, something that Saturn pointed out is you just constantly get your ball saved because it feels like you lose too easily. But in this one, you also get these multi-balls a lot, which is happening right now. And that's a really cool feature. I just feel like you have a fair shot with each ball. You don't die so easily. Like in Godzilla and Avengers, I was dying really quickly. But I feel like my reflexes are being put to the test, and it's a fair challenge. And if I lose, I'm really losing, while the other stuff just feels like the machine. I mean, I know part of it's me because I'm not good at pinball, but I feel like I messed up right here because like I just dropped the balls, but that was on me. Also, the board looks beautiful. It feels really good. It has like my favorite art. Feels really responsive. Overall, just feels really great.
Well, there you have it, a look at pinball's past and current. Thank you to all who contributed. Stay tuned to Software Agents for more Houston Arcade Expo 2021 coverage. And if you're new around here and want to help us out, here are some important links to check out. For some of our past coverage, check out over here. Or click here to see my recent collaboration with Mr. Top 10 List. It's also pinball related. Anyway, we'll see you around.